What's up, everybody? This is Wicked bringing you an audio commentary for WCReplays.com. Go ahead and get that replay paused at 1 minute as soon as possible, and while you do, I'll talk about some stuff nobody cares about. So I was looking through the audio archive and noticed that we haven't had a pro-human commentary in a while, so I decided to do one. At first I was going to do human versus human, but I got some replays and they weren't as good as I'd hoped they'd be, so I settled for this human versus undead match between XP77 Luxmaster, who I will be referring to as Perfume, since he is indeed Perfume West, and then 3L Fear, who I'll just be calling Fear, because he's fearsome and I fear him. Anyway, they're playing on Nullwood, and they are both spawned at the bottom of the map, with Perfume at the very bottom, and with Fear taking the bottom right position. So if you've got that replay paused at 1 minute, we'll go ahead and unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, so we have a standard altar farm, barracks farm on the side of Perfume, and then the altar, crypt, and tome build that signifies ghouls on the side of Fear. You generally want to go ghouls versus human because fiends will always lose out to footmen in the new patch with the defend buff. So here comes the ghoul scout of Fear. It's going out to scout the bases, and Perfume also sends out a militia. Luckily they find each other right at the beginning. The hero choices are Archmage and Death Knight, not that much of a surprise there. You really need the Archmage to later stop the high level nuke by using Mountain King, because the Mountain King needs the Brilliance Aura to spam Stormbolt. So, we've got a footman attacking a ghoul, the militia running back to the base, not that much happening. Now here is where it starts getting interesting. Perfume is actually going to pull a fast expand right underneath Fear's nose. Now it's generally not a good idea for a human to fast expand, not only versus an undead, but when you're right next to each other on a map where being right next to each other means you're extremely close, like on Nullwood. So he's going to go fast expand while Fear's going to come in and harass with his Death Knight and a Wand of Necromancy. So he's just going to run around and find some critters to lay slaughter to, and maybe get some skeletons up. So he's going to run in and just try and kill peasants. Skeletal minions are definitely good harassing aids versus human because of the normal damage versus the peasant's normal armor. Now here is, over to the left side of the screen, Luxmaster's fast expansion going up. If you notice, his Archmage is about at half health. That's because he let his Archmage tank the first boulder and a few rounds of axe throwing in order to let his water elemental survive longer. The Archmage can be an excellent tank for the beginning part of your fast expansion. Now, if you notice, back at the base, also there has been the harass going on by Fear with focus firing down of peasants by skeletons. Perfume has managed to convert a couple into militia, and the two militia, along with one footman, are going to be able to beat this back, but the Death Knight's going to come back in and try and use Death Coil and finish off some more stuff. Perfume just lost a footman on the left side, which is perfectly understandable, seeing as how he's managing to repel this harass somehow, as well as make up a fast expansion. If you go to the Lux's vision, he has 6 idle peasants. He's going to start building the fast expansion pretty soon. And once he does that, he won't have those idle peasants anymore. So now he's got his Archmage and 2 footmen and the water elemental coming back to join up with another 2 footmen to possibly go and harass Fear's base. As far as humans harassing undeads go, it's easier when you have your Archmage and 3 to 4 footmen and water elementals, so that you can run in and kill acolytes. Fun stuff. And that's exactly what he is going to go do. Generally, in an undead base versus human, they won't close it off so tightly, but the ziggurat will be protected. The ziggurat that has been upgraded to a Nerubian tower, that is. But if you have 4 to 3 footmen as well as a water elemental and an Archmage, the Nerubian tower can't slow everything down. Fear knows this and is upgrading a second tower just to protect himself. Now, if you notice back at Perfume's base, Fear is going back to harassing the militia. Fear has decided that it will be a better idea to kill most of Fear's acolytes before getting back to his base, which means it's basically going to be an even trade-off on resources, except there's something Perfume knows that Fear doesn't, and that is that he has a fast expansion. The fast expansion is just about finished, or yes, it's just about finished, and he will put the peasants on as soon as he does, but he knows that he will have a resource advantage momentarily. So the Archmage has been hit by towers, mostly, back at Fear's base. All the acolytes have been eliminated, and Fodrid Iran is going to take a teleport back over to his base to try and save his town hall, which is being attacked now that all of the peasants of Perfume have been annihilated. He needs to save that town hall. Even if he has a fast expansion, that town hall is still very crucial. Right, so he returns triumphantly from Fear's base to try and repel this rather large army. This is quite an amazing feat. If you look at the sheer numbers of the thing, Fear's army is huge compared to the 4 footmen and Archmage of Perfume. But because of Fear's dogged determination to destroy that town hall and excellent repairing micro of Perfume, he won't be able to. So if you notice, the Archmage got a Wand of Mana Stealing as a drop. I hear a lot of people complain about this item. It's really good in this situation. You can take that mana off of the Death Knight, take away Coil, bring in more water elementals. It's basically, it really helps him beat back this kind of rush, which seems impossible, yes, right now. So 4 footmen, 2 water elementals, no footmen coming out of the barracks, a level 2 Archmage compared to a level 2 Death Knight as well. Fear's going to go back after the town hall, but it's going to be repaired, and he's going to back off a bit. Now he's going to start focusing down on footmen. He kills one there. There's another one at 79 health. A bunch of people start leaving the game because they think it's over. Little do they know that there shall be a major comeback. Anyway, so now the skeletons are being beat back by the militia, because rather than building more footmen, which he actually is now, Perfume has been building up peasants, because if the fight's in his base, he might as well have militia as footmen. So the fast expansion is finally up and running, which means that Perfume can afford to spend excess amounts of money continuously pumping footmen as well as repairing his town hall at the same time, while still gaining an eventual unit advantage on Fear. Fear is trying to focus down some of the water elementals. If you're going to focus water elementals as Undead, or as any race for that matter, make sure that you summon you attack the most recently summoned one, so that you're sure it won't run out on you. So somehow, someway, you watched rather than listened, Perfume beat back that rush, and now he is definitely building up some base defense, because he knows that as the human fast expansion, the advantage really begins at approximately 10 minutes. For the first 10 minutes of the game versus a human fast expander, that's when you have your window of opportunity. If you can take your opponent out during that window, then you are set for the rest of the game. Now, look over here. Fear is sending out a scout ghoul to scout for an expansion. If you set it to Fear's vision, and then turn the fog of war on while he's creeping, and so is Perfume, you'll see the ghoul go over. He's going to go in, and he's going to stop right there. The ghoul is at pretty low HP. He's being pursued by footmen. It's going to go in, and it's going to try and scout out this expansion here. The ghoul goes over, it sees the expansion, and it leaves. And yet later in the game, you will hear Fear complain that he did not indeed see that expansion, when you can positively say that's true. He saw the expansion. You can see it on his minimap. Anyway, set it back to an OBS or whoever. Doesn't really matter. Take off Fog of War again and go back to Perfume's base. Fear realizes that if he does have a fast expansion, he needs to push his advantage right now. So he is definitely pushing that advantage. He's going to try and get this town hall down once again, or at least have Perfume waste a bunch of money, because if he doesn't know that he has a fast expansion, then the only thing that he does know is that Perfume's wasting a bunch of money trying to repair this town hall. Fear goes in here, and he's trying to take out footmen. A very good thing that he could have done here would be to attack this scout tower. Fiends are excellent for attacking unupgraded scout towers, because they have light armor, 0 of it. Fiends could take that down in moments. But anyway, Perfume has called full militia while Fear is trying to fight it off with fiends. One of the fiends gets surrounded. This is a pretty nice save here. There's a coil there, and then a heal scroll is used. A lot of militia died to kill that fiend. Fear becomes a little bit more organized here, starts focus firing militia rather than just attack moving them. Focus firing militia and footmen, that is. If you notice back at Fear's base, really fast, he has 2 crypts up rather than 1 because he was originally going ghouls, but now he switched to fiends. That will allow him faster fiend production, but at the expense of Tier 2 and Tier 3 units. So, the battle back at Perfume's base, a couple of fiends have died, but the ghouls and skeletons are holding the line while the Death Knight dances in and out as to avoid being killed. Right, the Death Knight uses Death Coil to great effect to snipe off units. Death Coiling weak units is probably the best way to get rid of them. That was a pretty dumb statement, now wasn't it? I honestly don't think you listeners of WCR are that dumb that you need to know that. If you notice, there is Perfume is pursuing a fiend of Fear, and Fear made an illusion of a crit fiend and used the illusion to block the Archmage. That's a pretty go-to move, but it can be used. I mean, it's tough to pull off in a normal situation, but if you have a Wand of Illusion and you have units that's being pursued, make a illusion, and if they don't go for the illusion, like, first off, then just use the illusion to block. Now, what Perfume did right there is he bought some Dust of Appearance from the Goblin Merchant, set it off to make sure that when he crept it, Fear didn't get any sentry wards here, which would be pretty bad. So, here comes another battle with heavily outnumbered footmen and an Archmage versus too many fiends. But the weak Death Knight still dances in and out of battle. The fiends are going to pursue once again, going to try and take down something or the other. There's really nothing to be taken down at this point. Guard towers have been thrown up at Perfume's base, and he has a guard tower over at his expansion. Now, if you look at his expansion, Perfume is being extremely sneaky here. He is teching at his expansion rather than at his main base. This will give Fear the impression that he's staying with mass footmen, which will cause him to get, units to counter that, or maybe mass riflemen, which will cause him to stay with fiends. But the fact that he's teching as expansion and that Fear doesn't know about it is probably one of the more deceiving things I've seen in a replay. Another thing that this allows is that when you tech your expansion, sometimes when an undead gets you to extremely low life and you're forced to TP out, they'll have the Death Knight run over to your base and just get off a quick snipe of Death Coil, and your hero will be dead. If you tech at your expansion, then you're teleporting to somewhere that he doesn't know. Anyway, as I told you before, the advantage is pretty much 10 minutes for human fast expansion. But because of his mass production of fiends and some excellent anti-human micro, Fear still has a slight advantage. Now here, Perfume is going in, and he's going to try once again to kill Acolytes, and he's not going to succeed too well. Not going to get a 1. But not for lack of trying. And he's going to come in here, and because he knows he's outnumbered, he's really not trying to win this battle so much as he's just trying to kill this Death Knight. Notice how he keeps trying to get surrounds off, and he gets one off there, but the Death Knight manages to escape by having his fiends focus fire a footman down. Because of the tech that is finished at his expansion, Perfume is able to research Defend, which is nearly done. Defend versus obviously fiends can turn the tide of any battle. Now here, Perfume is trying to do the same thing an Undead would do, in that he is running into the base after a teleport to try and kill the weak hero, but the weak hero had got a heal scroll off, so he's not going to die anytime soon. All that's happening right now is that fiends are focusing down weak footmen, and that's not going to last much longer. The Archmage gets a lucky level there, in that if he had not leveled, he would have died. He is forced to teleport. Under Fiend Focus Fire, the teleport leaves behind a footman and a water elemental. You should TP with a level 4 hero at the expense of a footman and a water elemental. Now here comes the Undead trick. He's going to run in with his level 3 Death Coil and go, hey, where is that Archmage that I want to kill? He's going to go look in the back of the base because he thinks it might be hiding back there. But because of the tech at the other base, the other base being the expansion. He has teleported there to the highest tech building and cannot be found by the Death Knight. So, Fear sees his window of opportunity slipping away very quickly and decides to press the attack again to try and destroy Perfume's army base, anything else he can. Now here, there's focus fire of militia going down. Going down. This shit is going down, mates. No, but really, they're focus firing on the militia because the militia only have 220 HP and take full damage from the piercing, which means it probably takes approximately 10 shots, and from 7 or 8 fiends, it's really not that tough. A Mountain King as second hero for Perfume, generally standard versus Undead to try and keep away the nuke by stunning the Death Knight and or killing. It's also very useful for killing fiends. You notice the Death Coil snipe there. Perfume had a life potion on that Archmage, but did not use it due to the cooldown of his last one, which also saved him from Death Coil. So now it's a Mountain King with a bunch of footmen, a couple of leftover water elementals, versus that Death Knight with a bunch of fiends. A Lich is constructing at Fear's altar. Lich is what the fiend user uses to counteract the fact that footmen beat fiends. So footmen are beating your fiends, and you have your Death Knight that's just sniping, and they use focus fire. And then the uncapped damage of Frost Nova will also assist in defeating footmen. That's pretty much how a fiender can beat human. If you desperately need to use fiends, you desperately need to use a Lich. Now here, Fear is creeping out the middle, which he is doing at the moment without web. I think, actually, no, web just finished, so their web is going to finish. You know, when he started this creep, he did not have web. The Mountain King is creeping out a Golem Merchant, and they're actually going to go Creepjack. Spellbreakers, also, Perfume is added. The reason he's getting Spellbreakers is because versus Fiends, that's what you want to do. You want to mass normal damage and heavy armor, or any other, or an armor that's weak, but the only armor that the human has that's weak is Rifleman, and the Fiends are weak, are strong against that as well, so it doesn't really matter. Fear right there, he picks up, he notice he only has level 1 Unholy Aura. He picks up a level of Death Pact to save himself from bolt surrounds. Very smart idea on the part of the Undead. But the Mountain King here gets a Robe of the Magi +6 as his free drop, which ensures that even without the Archmage, you'll still be able to spam some spells relatively well. So, going back to what I said before about massing normal damage versus fiends, Spellbreakers and Footmen are the best way to do this because Footmen can go right up into their faces and will distract the fiend user from the Spellbreaker sitting behind doing slightly more damage. Priests as well, although casters versus Death Knights is kind of like Druids of the Talon and Archers versus Death Knights. There's a lot of sniping that goes on, people. Remember that it's not only Archers and Druids of the Talon that can be sniped, but you can also snipe any human caster that you please with Death Coil. It will kill a Priest in one hit at level 3, it'll also kill a Sorceress in one hit at level 3, and caster sniping can be fun and rewarding as well. It will bring new energy into your life. So here's a battle going on versus Mass Defended Footmen versus 4 Fiends, a Death Knight, and a Lich. You see an excellent use of Frost Nova right there. 3L Fear has gotten his Death Knight surrounded yet again, and he uses Death Pact to save himself. He does not have a teleport, so he has to escape there, but now that the Death Knight's out of the picture, it's onto free range for the Footmen and Mountain King to kill Grip Fiends. They managed to get a bolt off there, but the Brilliant Aura is not enough to get the Mountain King enough mana to kill another one. So the 3 Priests, 3 Spellbreakers, 5 Footmen, and Water Elemental Archmage, and Mountain King combination managed to take down a couple Fiends and weaken the Death Knight considerably. So now healing back at the Mana Fountain, not really healing, but regenerating mana, along with this statue that is actually healing the 2 Crypt Fiends, Lich and Death Knight of Fear. So, now, Perfume is going to go around and sort of just look for him. He's going to try and find Fear. Now that he doesn't, he's going to start heading a little bit back to his base, and then head over to Fear's base, because he wants to bring the fight to Fear right now, because he knows that for the first time in this game he has the advantage, and he wants to press it. But he's going to, he being Perfume, going to set a sentry ward at the expansion place of Fear, as well as creep it. And in the midst of this creep, Fear is going to infiltrate Perfume's base, guard towers and all, and destroy, absolutely destroy a amount of peasants. Fear wants to finish off creeping this before he goes and teleports, and that he does. So he TP's back, which is countered by a teleport from Fear. So basically, Perfume loses a bunch of peasants for nothing, except for a little bit of extra EXP from the creeps. But as I said earlier, Perfume realizes that his economic advantage can push it. So you can see right there that a couple of ghouls over at the expansion of Perfume were trying to harass maybe. The castle tech is going on there, so finally Fear knows that the tech has been going on the entire time over at the expo. Fear has added a third hero in the Crypt Lord because he knows that at this point the only thing that can save him is the famous Undead nuke. His units are heavily outnumbered and out-teched. A couple sorceresses are added, not too many because Perfume knows that eventually there will be destroyers in this army to counter all these footmen, so he's not going to get too many sorceresses to feed them slow. Perfume, that is going to go in. He decides that before he kills these towers, he wants to clear out a little room. He knows that there's virtually no army that will stop him, so he's going to clear out the shop and then proceed to take out the towers, which, by the way, do take damage from attacking footmen. Or at least so it seems. If I'm wrong on that, please correct me. But, right, so focusing down the towers on an undead base, they go down surprisingly fast for having 5 fortified armor, maybe because they only have 550 HP. Notice how Perfume is able to take them down with relative ease, with mass normal damage and magic as well. So, the towers are gone, and now Perfume wants to take out lumber ghouls and or, acolytes, that kind of stuff. A Stormbolt there takes out an acolyte in one hit, although you never really see Stormbolt sniping. Here's another game of teleport tag, and the Archmage wins that one, taking out 2 acolytes and weakening the haunted gold mine, and slowing a bunch of ghouls before Fear can really do anything. Once again, he teleports over to his expansion. So now the higher teched army of Perfume is ready to once again head over and engage Fear's. Fear knows that this is probably his last good chance to make any progress versus this fast expanded army. He's going to try and use nuke to his best advantage. If he can take out the Archmage, the prize of the Archmage, then he might be able to pull this off. But he knows that he has to act fast, and he has to act now. So he's going to head to the main base because it is less defended than the expansion. That meaning that the main hall there has less HP, there are less positioned towers. So he's going to, he being Fear, going to run in and just start annihilating peasants again. Not really that hard of a concept to grasp. Another game of teleport tag. Fear's really messing himself up here by playing teleport tag. He's losing more money than Perfume is it's late. Despite killing more peasants, he's still losing more money by continuing to buy these. So, the 2 statues, which will later be converted into destroyers, are healing up the army of Fear, while Perfume is taking his rather large at this point army of 65 food, and he's going to go try and bring the fight right under Perfume's nose. Maybe take out a few acolytes, maybe destroy his army. Now watch as Perfume slows an obsidian statue. That seems kind of ridiculous to me. Luckily, Fear converts them to destroyers before the imbalance can be executed. So here's the one tower, the main hall being that tower, and the undead army engaging Perfume. Impale there, pretty poor Impale, and gets 2 units. It appears that Fear forgot that, magic immune isn't affected by, magic. So, it's gonna go back in. Definitely, Spellbreakers are an awesome counter to the Crypt Lord because it is melee, it can't really go anywhere, and if you just have one or two spellbreakers attack the Crypt Lord, it won't have any mana. So you can see that the ultimate of the Death Knight has been used, and I'm pretty sure these 6 ghouls are just being A-clicked onto the Paladin, and you know, what can the Paladin do versus invincible ghouls? I don't know. Why don't you tell me? So a potion is used on the Paladin to keep him alive slightly longer, but he still dies to invincible ghouls, which are, by the way, complete imbalance. And the human is still continuing to fight inside this base, even though the advantage is turned back his way with the expiration of the invincible ghouls. Fighting in the middle of an undead base can be daunting and scary. It can be many things, except for sexually arousing. But my Warcraft just minimized. You might experience a slight delay here. You'll probably be more forward in the replay than I am by a couple seconds. But anyway, so the Mountain King fighting in an undead base is tough, but you can get over the fear. It's mostly a fear factor than a actual damage factor. 2 destroyers and the 3 heroes are going to try and do some last bit of damage, but without the high level nuke, he's got only a level 1 Nova. Level 3 Death Coil, yes, but only a level 1 Nova won't do much. And the heroes are at low health, so it's going to be tough for them to actually pull anything off. Plus, Perfume has been smart enough to load his heroes with potions. About the nuke versus human, there's lots of stuff you can do to counteract it. If he gets the melee nukers, obviously, such as the Death Knight and the Dreadlord or the Crypt Lord, can be countered by 2 or 3 spellbreakers, and you just A-click the 1 or 2 spellbreakers on that, and it will drain mana slowly throughout the battle, so long as they do not move too far away. Actually, now I'm going to take back my statement earlier that towers take damage from defend. I've just noticed that they do not. Anyway, the Lich and the Death Knight are the only heroes remaining, as the Crypt Lord's just been killed. The Lich is going to get isolated from the Death Knight here via a Spellbreaker block behind the shop. And once Perfume notices that the Lich is isolated, he's going to bolt it, and he's going to pretty much get rid of that Lich. And once the Lich is gone, so is the game for Fear. The towers aren't really doing much versus the defend, although they are focusing down the Paladin. The Paladin barely escapes. The Death Knight has to pop an invulnerability potion in order to get away. And, well, no, he uses Death back, excuse me. But the towers are going down to the focus fire. The entire thing's going downhill. There's really nothing left that Fear can do. Right. So we'll go over some of the points why Fear lost this game. First off, he noticed the fast expansion, but he didn't do anything about it. We know that he noticed the fast expansion because we turned on the Fog of War. We saw him notice the fast expansion. He even sent more ghouls over there, and yet at the end of the game, he says, "Oh my god, I didn't see your fast expansion." So if he'd done something about the expansion, he could have won. He pressed the advantage really well, but Perfume, using some excellent micro techniques of calling all peasants rather than just calling a couple, manages to hold him off for the first bits of battle, and hold him off to that crucial approximately 10-minute mark when the human gets the advantage off of their expansion. Peace out, bros. Keep it real, and remember that I am straight out of Compton. Wicked, signing off.